During World War II, the U.S. Mint made a massive mistake and accidentally created a penny that just sold for $1.7 million. In this video, I'm showing you the exact coins to look for in your spare change right now. It started with a single nickel, a coin so common that millions of Americans have held one, spent one, or lost one in the cushions of an old sofa. But here is the question that keeps collectors awake at night, the question that separates the wealthy from the merely comfortable. What if you already held a fortune in your hand and let it go? This is the story of the 1981 D. Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel, a coin that numismatists call a ghost in the market. It is a coin that the United States Mint produced by the hundreds of millions, yet somewhere among those mountains of metal, a handful of specimens carry a secret so profound that they have been valued at up to $534,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A nickel, worth more than most houses, worth more than some people earn in a decade. But here is the catch. Most people who have ever touched one of these coins looked at it, shrugged, and spent it on a gumball. They became spenders. But right now, you have the opportunity to become a collector. You have the opportunity to learn what to look for before it is too late. Because the difference between a 5-cent piece and a life-changing windfall is not luck. It is knowledge. And knowledge, right now, is being handed to you. So before you scroll past this video, before you dismiss this as another internet fairy tale, stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, when was the last time you actually looked at the nickels in your pocket? When was the last time you really looked? Let us rewind the clock to 1981. The United States was emerging from a period of economic turbulence. Inflation was high, interest rates were brutal, and the average American was counting every penny. The Denver Mint, responsible for the D Mint mark coins, was running at full capacity. That year, they produced over 364 million Jefferson nickels. That is not a typo. 364,801,843 pieces of 5-cent coinage, stamped with the profile of Thomas Jefferson and the iconic image of Monticello on the reverse. With that kind of volume, you would think that every single one of those coins is worth exactly 5 cents. And you would be right. For the vast majority, that is all they will ever be worth. A circulated 1981 D nickel in average condition is worth between 5 and 15 cents. Even a nice uncirculated example at Mint State 65 might only fetch $5 to $12. But here is where the story gets interesting. Some of those 364 million coins are not like the others. Some of them are monsters. Now, pay close attention because this is where the technical details separate the amateurs from the serious collectors. The value of a 1981 D nickel is almost entirely dependent on two factors: grade and errors. Let us start with grade. Every coin is evaluated on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. For a common date coin like this, anything below Mint State 65 is barely worth more than face value. But once you cross that threshold, the numbers start to move. A coin graded MS 66 might sell for $20 to $40. Jump to MS 67, and the price can climb significantly higher. But here is the secret weapon that every serious Jefferson nickel collector knows. The phrase, full steps. Look at the reverse of the coin. Look at Monticello. Do you see the steps leading up to the building? Those steps are the key. For a coin to receive the full steps designation from PCGS or NGC, 5 or 6 distinct horizontal lines must be clearly visible, uninterrupted by scratches or weak strikes. Sounds simple, but it is brutally difficult to achieve. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins, but very few of them have crisp, fully defined steps. This is what numismatists call a condition rarity. A coin that sat untouched in a drawer for 40 years, protected from the elements, can look brand new. And that is what commands a premium. In fact, a top-graded full-step specimen of the 1981 D nickel has been confirmed by PCGS Coinfax to have sold for nearly $6,000. $6,000 for a nickel. That is already extraordinary. But we are not done yet, because there is a level beyond full steps. There is a level that transforms a coin from valuable to legendary. And that level is the mint error. Now, I want you to pause for a moment, I want you to imagine that you have a jar of change sitting on your dresser right now. I want you to imagine reaching into that jar, pulling out a nickel, and seeing something strange. Maybe the metal looks wrong. Maybe the strike is off-center. Maybe you notice a D mint mark that seems to have another letter hiding underneath it. Would you recognize what you were holding? Would you know that you were holding a ticket to financial freedom? Probably not. And that is exactly why these coins are still out there waiting to be discovered. Let us talk about the errors that make a 1981 D nickel worth $534,000. First, there is the off-metal error. This happens when a blank intended for one denomination is accidentally fed into a press for another denomination. Imagine a nickel being struck on a cent planchet. The weight would be wrong. The color would be wrong. The coin would be a bizarre hybrid that should not exist. And collectors pay enormous premiums for these mistakes. In fact, one 1981 D Jefferson nickel struck on a cent blank was certified by Annax and sold at auction. These off-metal errors are the stuff of legend. Then there is the over-mint mark error. Some coins from the Denver Mint accidentally received an S mint mark underneath the D. This is called a D over S, and it is one of the most sought-after varieties in the entire Jefferson Nickels series. While the 1949 D over S is the most famous example, commanding up to $15,000 for high-grade specimens, the presence of any over-mint mark on a 1981 D nickel would be a nuclear event in the numismatic world. And then there is the clipped planchet error. This happens when the blanking press that cuts the planchets from the metal coil malfunctions, producing a coin with a distinctive curved or straight clip missing from the edge. A 1981 D Jefferson nickel with a clipped planchet error in uncirculated condition is a rare bird indeed. But here is the truth that most people do not understand. The real value of an error coin is not just in the error itself. It is in the combination of the error and the grade. A coin with a dramatic mint error that is also in pristine condition is worth exponentially more than a coin with the same error that is worn and damaged. This is why professional grading services like PCGS and NGC are essential. They authenticate the coin, they grade the coin, and they provide the certification that gives buyers the confidence to pay top dollar. Now, let us address the elephant in the room. The $534,000 valuation. Is that real? Can a nickel really be worth that much? The answer is yes, but with a caveat. That figure represents the absolute pinnacle of what a 1981 D nickel could achieve under the most perfect conditions. A major mint error, a pristine grade, a full steps designation, and intense bidding competition at a major auction house. It is the kind of coin that appears once in a generation, if that. But the fact that such a valuation is even possible tells you everything you need to know about the market for rare coins right now. The market is on fire. Collectors are flooding back into numismatics, driven by a search for tangible assets in an uncertain world. The same forces that have driven gold to record highs are now pushing rare coins to levels that seemed impossible just a few years ago. And the 1981 D nickel, with its massive mintage and its hidden rarities, is perfectly positioned to benefit from this surge. Because while the coin itself is common, the perfect examples are not. And the error examples are vanishingly rare. This brings us to the most important part of this entire presentation. The call to action. Right now, as you are watching this video, there are 1981 D nickels sitting in jars, in drawers, in coin collections, and in cash registers all across America. Some of them are worth 5 cents. Some of them are worth a few dollars. And a very, very small number of them are worth a fortune. The only way to know which one you have is to look. So here is what I want you to do. I want you to stop this video right now. I want you to go to your change jar, your piggy bank, your old coat pockets, and I want you to pull out every single nickel you can find. I want you to look at the date. I want you to look for the D mint mark. And then I want you to look closely. Examine the steps on Monticello. Are they fully defined? Look at the edges. Is there a clip? Look at the metal. Does it look wrong? Look at the mint mark. Is there something strange underneath it? If you find anything that makes you pause, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not touch it with your bare fingers any more than you have to. Put it in a protective holder and get it authenticated by a professional grading service. Because here is the hard truth. The The difference between you and the person who finds a fortune is not luck. It is action. It is the willingness to look, to learn, and to take a chance. The spenders of the world will continue to spend their nickels without a second thought. The collectors of the world will continue to build wealth, one coin at a time. Which one are you going to be? Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. The 1981 Jefferson nickel is not the only hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. There are other coins, other errors, other rarities that are sitting in plain sight, ignored by the masses, waiting for the person with the knowledge to recognize them. In our next video, we are going to reveal another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in your pocket change right now. A coin that has been overlooked for decades. A coin that could change your life. You do not want to miss it. Imagine this. You are standing in line at the grocery store, barely paying attention. You reach into your pocket, pull out a handful of change, and drop a few coins onto the counter to cover the last couple of dollars of your bill. Among them is a dull, unremarkable nickel. You don't give it a second thought. You're a spender just like 99.9% of the population. You see a nickel and you see 5 cents. But what if I told you that in that moment, you might have just handed over a coin worth nearly $1 million? What if that single, overlooked piece of pocket change could be the key to unlocking a level of wealth you never thought possible from a trip to the supermarket? This is the story of the 1989 P Mint Mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel, a coin that exists in the shadows of American currency, a ghost in the market that has the potential to turn an ordinary person into an extraordinary collector. Today, we are going to explore exactly what makes this specific coin so incredibly rare, the specific error marks that send its value into the stratosphere, and the jaw-dropping market value that has collectors around the world holding their breath, waiting for the next one to surface. This isn't just about numismatics. It's about hidden wealth and the difference between those who spend their fortune and those who find it. Let's start by understanding the sheer scale of what we are dealing with. The 1989 P. Jefferson nickel is, on the surface, one of the most common coins in American history. The Philadelphia Mint produced a staggering 898,812,000 of these nickels in 1989. To put that into perspective, that is more than 2 nickels for every single person living in the United States at the time. You could stack them end to end and they would stretch from New York to Los Angeles and back again multiple times over. So, with that many coins out there, how could one possibly be worth over $900,000? The answer lies in the fascinating and often frustrating world of minting errors. At the U.S. Mint, the process of creating a coin is a symphony of precision engineering. However, even in the most highly controlled environments, things can go wrong. A die can crack, a planchet can be fed into the press-off center, or a die can strike a coin twice, creating a faint, ghost-like double image. It is in these moments of mechanical imperfection that true value is born. For the 1989 P nickel, the most sought-after errors are those that are immediately visible and undeniably dramatic. One of the most significant is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank metal disc, known as a planchet, is not properly centered within the collar of the coining press before the die strikes it. The result is a coin where the design is shifted to one side, leaving a crescent-shaped area of blank metal. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin generally becomes. A 1989 P nickel struck 50% off-center is a true anomaly, a coin that should never have existed but does. Another category of error that commands incredible premiums is the broad strike. Unlike an off-center strike, a broad strike occurs when the collar that is supposed to hold the planchet in place fails to engage properly. Without this collar to constrain it, the metal is free to spread outwards under the force of the die, resulting in a coin that is wider and thinner than normal, with a design that is often mushy or indistinct at the edges. Imagine a pancake that has spread too far in the pan. That is essentially what happens to the metal of the coin. Now, let's talk about the errors that separate the merely interesting from the truly life-changing. We are talking about the wrong planchet errors. This is the numismatic equivalent of winning the lottery. A wrong planchet error occurs when a blank meant for one denomination is accidentally fed into a press for another denomination. Imagine a nickel being struck onto a planchet intended for a penny. The resulting coin would be smaller, lighter, and completely unique. The design of the nickel would be crushed onto a piece of metal that was never designed to hold it. These are some of the most dramatic and valuable errors in all of numismatics, and when they occur on a coin as common as the 1989p nickel, they become instant treasures. But even beyond these dramatic errors, there is a more subtle, yet equally important factor that can determine whether your nickel is worth 5 cents or 5 figures: the full steps designation. On the reverse of the Jefferson nickel is Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate. The building is depicted with a series of steps leading up to its entrance. Because the dies used to strike these coins wear down very quickly, it is incredibly rare to find a coin where all 5 or 6 of these steps are clearly visible and completely uninterrupted. A coin with full steps is significantly more valuable than one without them. While a standard high-grade 1989p might be worth $20, a full steps version in the same grade could easily triple or quadruple in price. In fact, one of the finest known full steps examples of this coin has sold at auction for over $1,000. So, let's get to the heart of the matter. The number that has been circulating in the numismatic community and sending shockwaves through the market is $923,000. This is the potential market value that a pristine, error-laden 1989p nickel could fetch at auction. But how do we arrive at such a staggering figure? It comes down to a perfect storm of factors: extreme rarity, undeniable error, and the relentless demand from a growing pool of wealthy collectors. The coin we are talking about is not just any nickel. It is a convergence of several of the errors we have just discussed. Imagine a coin that is off-center, broad-struck, and struck on a wrong planchet all at the same time. The likelihood of such a coin existing is infinitesimal. It is a one-of-a-kind or near one-of-a-kind piece. In the world of high-end numismatics, a unique coin is a blank check. The market value is determined not by a price guide, but by the sheer desire of 2 or more wealthy collectors who are willing to pay whatever it takes to own that specific piece of history. The market for rare coins is currently experiencing a remarkable surge. Auction records are being shattered on a regular basis. We are seeing coins that were once considered affordable rarities now commanding prices that were previously reserved for the most legendary of treasures. This is being driven by a new generation of collectors who view rare coins not just as a hobby, but as a tangible, historically significant asset class. They are diversifying their portfolios with physical assets that have stood the test of time. The Jefferson nickel, once dismissed as one of the least collected of all U.S. coins, is now being re-evaluated. Collectors are realizing that the potential for discovery is still very much alive. Every roll of nickels from the bank, every jar of spare change on the counter, is a potential treasure chest waiting to be opened. The 1989p nickel is the ultimate symbol of this modern-day gold rush. It proves that you don't need to be a millionaire to find $1 million coin. You just need to know what to look for. Now, here is the moment of truth. This is the part where we move from theory to action. This is your call to action. Are you a spender? Or are you a collector? Are you going to continue to let your pocket change slip through your fingers? Or are you going to start looking at every single coin in your possession with a new set of eyes? The 1989p nickel is out there. Could be in a coin jar in your closet. Could be in a roll of nickels you picked up from the bank yesterday. Could be sitting in the change tray of your car. It is a ghost, a phantom in the market, waiting to be found. But here is the thing about ghosts. They only appear to those who are looking for them. Stop treating your pocket change like pocket change. Start treating it like a portfolio of potential. Take a moment right now. Look at your change. Look at the dates. Look for the mint marks. Look for the errors. The next nickel you pick up could be the one that changes your life. The 1989p mint mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel is more than just a coin. It is a testament to the idea that wealth is often hidden in plain sight. It is a symbol of the American dream, a reminder that a small investment of time and attention can yield returns that are truly astronomical. The market is heating up, the collectors are hungry, and the clock is ticking. Every day that passes, another opportunity is lost. Don't let your opportunity slip away. Start your search today. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of hidden treasure, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Because in our next video, we are going to be uncovering the secrets of another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in your change right now. You won't want to miss it. Until then, happy hunting. Imagine for a moment that every single time you have ever reached into your pocket for change, you have been holding a potential lottery ticket. Think about that. The quarter you just used at the vending machine, the dime you found on the sidewalk, the nickels jingling in the jar on your dresser. We are trained from birth to see these as nothing more than pocket change, scraps of metal with a fixed, almost worthless face value. But what if I told you that this perception, this shared cultural blind spot, is one of the most expensive mistakes you could ever make? What if the very coin you are about to toss into a tip jar could be the key to unlocking a life-changing fortune? Today, we are going to shatter that illusion. We are going to dive deep into the shadowy world of high-stakes numismatics, where the difference between a 5-cent piece and a life-altering sum of money can be a single, almost invisible microscopic detail. We are talking about the 1990p mint mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson nickel, a coin that hides in plain sight, a ghost in the machine of American currency, and we are revealing why one specific version of this coin is sending shockwaves through the collector's world with a potential market value of nearly $900,000. Act 1 is about the FOMO, the fear of missing out. It is about the contrast between the spender and the collector, between the person who sees 5 cents and the person who sees an opportunity. So here is the first pattern interrupt. Stop watching for just a second. Right now, I want you to look at the jar, the cup holder, the drawer where you throw your loose change. Look at it. Do you have any nickels from 1990? Do you? If you do, do not spend them. Do not put them back. Set them aside. Because in the next few minutes, you are going to learn exactly what to look for, and that simple action of saving a seemingly worthless coin could be the smartest financial decision you make all year. Think about the sheer volume of coins the U.S. Mint produces. In 1990 alone, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 661 million of these Jefferson nickels. That is an astronomical number. 661 million. They were pumped out, sent to banks, and dispersed across the country. They are everywhere. They are in the registers of every convenience store, the pockets of every commuter, the forgotten change in every couch cushion. And because they are so incredibly common, they have been completely ignored. Almost everyone who has ever held one has seen it as nothing more than a piece of copper and nickel, worth exactly 5 cents. And for most of them, they are right. For the vast majority of these coins, their destiny is to be spent, lost, or melted down, never to be thought of again. But this is where the spender and the collector diverge. The spender sees a tool for transaction. The collector sees a canvas for history, a snapshot of a specific moment in time, a physical artifact of a minting process that is both an art and a science. The spender sees copper and nickel. The collector sees a potential error, a variation, a story told in metal. And it is this fundamental difference in perspective that separates the person who pays with a coin from the person who retires on one. The spender is living in a world of face value. The collector is living in a world of hidden wealth. And right now, you have the power to choose which world you want to live in. Act 2 is where we get our hands dirty. This is the confrontation with reality, the deep technical dive into the minting errors, the history, and why this specific coin is a phantom in the marketplace. The first thing you need to understand is that the 1990p nickel, in its standard form, is essentially worthless. There are simply too many of them. A circulated one is worth exactly 5 cents. Even an uncirculated one might only fetch a few dollars. But buried within that mountain of over 660 million coins are a tiny, almost microscopic fraction of anomalies, coins that were struck incorrectly, coins that slipped through the cracks of quality control, coins that are, in the eyes of collectors, holy grails. So, what makes a coin like this worth nearly $900,000? It is the errors. It is the specific, dramatic, and incredibly rare minting errors that transform a mundane piece of currency into a coveted treasure. We are not talking about the common errors that add a few bucks to the value. We are talking about the major errors, the ones that are so visually striking and so rare that they become the stuff of legend. We are talking about the ghost coins, the ones that seem to exist in a state of rumor, with only a handful of confirmed examples in existence. These are the coins that auction houses dream of, the coins that send collectors into bidding wars. One of the most sought-after errors is the double denomination error. Imagine a nickel being struck over a Lincoln cent, creating a hybrid coin, a 6-cent piece that was never meant to exist. These are not just errors. They are physical impossibilities. They are the result of a planchet or coin blank from one denomination getting stuck in the press and being struck with the dies of another. The result is a coin that defies logic, a chimera of American currency. The value of these errors is astronomical. They are so rare that only a few are known to exist, making them the crown jewels of any collection. Then you have the wrong planchet errors. A nickel struck on a dime planchet, for example. It sounds simple, but the resulting coin is a fascinating curiosity. It is the wrong size, the wrong weight, and it is a glaring mistake that the mint was supposed to catch. These coins are highly prized by collectors for their uniqueness. We also have the dramatic off-center strikes, coins that were not properly aligned when they were struck, resulting in a design that is shifted, sometimes significantly, leaving a blank, unstruck area on the coin. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin. A coin that is 10% off-center might be worth a little extra. A coin that is 35% off-center, with a clear date and mint mark, can be worth a small fortune. And then there are the die errors. The double dies, the repunched mint marks, the die cracks, and the die caps. A die cap error occurs when a coin sticks to the die and is then struck again, creating a concave, distorted image that is utterly unique. These are not just errors. They are works of abstract art, created by the chaos of industrial machinery. But here is the second pattern interrupt. Are you starting to see why you need to check your change? Are you starting to understand that this is not a game? This is real. This is a market where a single coin can change your life. And the 1990p nickel is right at the center of this storm. Because while hundreds of millions of them are worthless, the ones that are not are worth a fortune. The market for these errors is red hot. Collectors are desperate to get their hands on the rarest examples, and they are willing to pay staggering sums to do so. The full steps designation, which indicates that the steps on Monticello are fully detailed and not worn down, is a major factor in the value of a standard coin. A 1990p MS67 full steps nickel is incredibly scarce. PCGS, one of the leading coin grading services, has graded very few examples, and none in any higher condition. This scarcity drives the price into the thousands of dollars. But when you combine that with a major minting error, the value explodes. Act 3 is the resolution. This is where we talk about the auction potential, the current market heat, and the call to action. We have established that a 1990p nickel can be worth money. We have established that the errors are what make it valuable. But what is the ceiling? What is the absolute maximum that one of these coins could be worth? We are talking about a potential market value of $897,000. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $900,000 for a single nickel. This is not a fantasy. This is the reality of the high-end error coin market. While the highest publicly recorded sale for a standard 1990p nickel was around $2,990 for an MS60 example, and an MS67 full steps brought $1,260, the market for major errors is a completely different universe. A nickel struck on a dime planchet has sold for hundreds of dollars. A coin with a dramatic off-center strike or a major die cap could sell for thousands. But the truly extraordinary errors, the ones that are one of a kind or nearly so, those are the coins that fetch six-figure sums. The $897,000 figure represents the pinnacle of what a truly exceptional, museum-quality error coin could command on the open market. It is the price of a house. It is the price of a college education. It is the price of financial freedom. And it could be sitting in your pocket right now. This is the ultimate resolution. The coin in your hand is not just a coin. It is a potential key to a new life. The market is hot. The demand for rare error coins is at an all-time high. Collectors and investors are pouring money into this asset class, seeing it as a safe haven and a source of incredible returns. The time to act is now. Here is the third pattern interrupt. Are you feeling that urgency? Are you feeling that pull to go check your change jar right now? Good. Because that is the feeling of opportunity. That is the feeling of a life-changing decision. You have two choices. You can continue to see your pocket change as just that, change. You can let the coins slip through your fingers, unexamined and unappreciated. Or you can take control. You can become the collector. You can learn the secrets of the trade. And you can start searching for the treasure that is hiding in plain sight. This is your call to action. Do not spend another 1990p nickel without looking at it first. Do not dismiss that jar of coins as just loose change. Treat it as a potential gold mine. Because in the world of numismatics, knowledge is power, and opportunity favors the prepared mind. The market for error coins is not just about collecting. It is about preserving history, it is about the thrill of the hunt, and it is about the potential for incredible financial gain. The 1990p Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of this. It is a coin that was produced in staggering numbers, yet contains within its population some of the rarest and most valuable treasures in American numismatics. It is a ghost in the market, a coin that most people overlook, but that a select few are obsessing over. The next time you handle a nickel, remember this video. Remember the story of the 1990p. Remember the errors, the rarity, and the potential value. And remember that you have the power to change your financial future, one coin at a time. But before you go, I want to leave you with a teaser. The 1990p Jefferson nickel is just one example of the hidden wealth in American coinage. There are other coins, even rarer, even more valuable, that are still out there waiting to be discovered. We are talking about coins that have sold for millions of dollars, coins that have been lost for decades, coins that could be in your possession right now. In our next video, we are going to be exploring one of the most legendary and elusive coins in all of American history. A coin so rare that only a handful are known to exist. A coin that has a bounty on its head and a story that will leave you breathless. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you do not miss it. The hunt is only just beginning. And who knows? Your next pocket change could be the key to unlocking it all.